Welcome to Carter's Corner Pocket, where we fuel the rocket. It's where we buy, hold, and it never gets old. I'm talking GameStop. Welcome, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about Ryan Cohen and his letter to the GameStop Board of Directors of November 2020. In that letter, he addresses GameStop's past, present, and the future strategic direction that he sees GameStop going. We're also going to talk about the false narrative that the media tries to push out about GameStop being a dying brick and mortar retailer. Let's get it. All right, let's go, everyone. Over here is Ryan Cohen's letter to the GameStop Board of Directors. November 16th, 2020. I've gone through this and highlighted all of the instances where he has mentioned shareholders of the company. I've highlighted it in blue. The red highlights are where he is chastising the current board of directors and their lack of strategic vision. The yellow is just, I think it's important to speak on, and everything that's green is speaking on GameStop's future strategic direction and where he sees GameStop going. So let's get into it. All right. The subject, maximizing stockholder value by becoming the ultimate destination for gamers. There you go. Talks about stockholder value. It's in his head. It's in his mind. Dear members of the Board of Directors, RC Ventures LLC is one of the largest stockholders of GameStop Corporation, with ownership of approximately 9.98%. Now it's about 12%, I believe. Okay. Continuing on. Let's go to this. Start. Given that our attempts to privately engage with you since the summer have yielded little progress, we feel compelled to send a clear message to the board today. So, the reason they didn't respond to Ryan Cohen is because they're plants on the board of directors, which now he has kicked them all out. GameStop's leadership should immediately conduct a strategic review of the business and share a credible plan for seizing the tremendous opportunities in the rapidly growing gaming sector. That's true. I'm going to touch on the growth of the gaming sector in a little bit. Here's some future. GameStop needs to evolve into a technology company that delights gamers and delivers exceptional digital experiences. GameStop has the ability to pivot toward becoming a technology-driven business that excels in the gaming and digital experience worlds. All he's talking about for the future strategic vision is technology, digital streaming, and mobile games. Tell me that GameStop's not adapting. Not remain a video game retailer that over prioritizes its brick and mortar footprint and stumbles around in the online ecosystem. Over here, he talks about how he's analyzed GameStop's assets, balance sheet, corporate governance, opportunity set, and positioning within the sector. So, if you don't think he got into this knowing everything and he has a plan going forward, the gaming industry is experiencing explosive growth with the global gaming market expected to be 175 billion this year and reach 220 billion by 2023. Guess what? Here are the numbers. In 2023, it surpassed the 217.9 billion that he wrote in this. In 2023, the gaming industry was worth 249.5 billion. You can see the growth. The majority was in in-game advertising, and then we went to mobile games. That's the majority, mobile games. And he mentions mobile gaming in this. Okay, you can see that 2024, it's expected to grow to 282 billion, 2026, 336 billion, and 2027, 363 billion. I don't see it slowing down. Okay? I do not see it slowing down. Every single time they say the gaming sector is going to grow, it surpasses the expected numbers. So, what do you think is going to happen? Let's go down over here. The company, this is forward looking, the company can still emerge as the market leader and ultimate destination for gamers if the board can set a credible strategy for capturing growth opportunities. The board may feel that it's insulated from stockholder scrutiny after adding new directors this past spring and seeing a recent stock price uptick, which only came on the heels of RC Ventures filing its 13D, aka I'm the reason the stock went up. You did nothing to help it. He talks about how they're over dependent on brick and mortar sales. GameStop's challenges stem from internal intransigence, lack of mindset, lack of changing your mindset, and an unwillingness to rapidly embrace the digital economy. Here's some more forward looking for you. This is why RC Ventures believes the successful and durable players of tomorrow will be technology first companies that specialize in gaming products, experiences, and services. Here's some more blasting of the board. It is evident to us that GameStop currently lacks the mindset, resources, and plan needed to become a dominant sector player. The company remains in long-term secular decline due to its apparent unwillingness to pivot with urgency and growth with gamers. Here he's talking about shareholders, and it's bolded and in red. As evidence, stockholders have seen the value of their equity decline by nearly 68% over the past 3 years and decline by nearly 85% over the past 5 years. So that lets you know he has shareholders on his mind, as I said before. And here we go. Here's some forward looking. He talks about transition from physical hardware to digital streaming, the explosion of mobile gaming, and the shift to purchasing from mass retailers and other online competitors. Here's some more blasting of the board, which is well deserved. Sales have plunged from 9.5 billion in the fiscal year 2011 to 6.4 billion in fiscal year 2019. I'm not reading EBITDA. It just reminds me of Adam Aaron, which was trash. I hate hearing that measurable. Net income has fallen off a cliff from 339 million in fiscal year 2011 to a staggering loss of 470 million in fiscal year 2019. And now that's changing around. We're about to be positive. Here's more on the shareholders. To add insult to injury for GameStop stockholders, the size of global gaming market has grown more than 2.5 times since the last console cycle. Although GameStop's e-commerce sales have increased significantly during the pandemic, annual revenues have declined by a staggering margin over time. The next console cycle temporary sales bump is not a justification for complacency and a glacial transformation. GameStop's leadership must promptly pivot from a brick and mortar mindset to a technology driven vision. It's bold, italics, and underline. It is the absolute most emphasis you can put on words. Pivot from a brick and mortar mindset to a technology driven vision. Okay? This transformation will take time. It's been time. And I'll show you how Ryan Cohen is enacting his plan. Here, he talks about the chief executive officer, George Sherman, at the time. Regrettably, Mr. Sherman appears committed to a 20th century focus on physical stores and walk-in sales, despite the transition to an always-on digital world. He talks about how he's brick and mortar for Advance Auto, Best Buy, and Target. If GameStop takes practical steps to cut its excessive real estate costs and hire the right talent, it will have resources to begin building powerful e-commerce platform that provides competitive pricing, broad gaming selection, fast shipping, and a truly high-touch experience that excites and delights customers. This is the type of world-class infrastructure that was constructed at Chewy, which is worth multiples of GameStop's current market capitalization. He delights customers, okay? There was a story, there was actually, no, I was watching a Roaring Kitty live stream of him speaking about a story his father told him about business. He said, if you have two trucks pull up to your store, one truck gives you more money, the other truck makes the customer happy. You always take the one that makes the customer happy because that makes a returning customer, not a customer that you have to bug and plague to get their business. They want to come back to you. And that's what GameStop is going to be. the ultimate destination for gamers. Over here in my notes, I wrote that RC Ryan Cohen has already strategically closed down stores. They're not closing down stores because of failure. They're closing down stores with bad lease agreements that are up for renewal in a high interest rate environment. It's smart business. He also talks about who he will hire, someone with a chip on their shoulder. We'll watch that in a little while. GameStop has the flexibility to evolve in a technology-driven sector leader. To be a technology-driven sector leader, look, there's technology again for you. Mentioning technology. Now is the time to identify duplicative, underperforming stores to plan forego lease renewals. Non-core operations in Europe and Australia can be streamlined or sold in order to reduce losses and potentially generate cash. These factors can fuel the necessary investments that GameStop could be making to delight and retain gamers well into the future. We contend the company's sales should be growing at least in line with the market, not going in the opposite direction. Significantly upgrading e-commerce can provide for a greater revenue capture across larger gaming catalogs, digital content and community experiences, online trade-ins and streaming services, and esports. Okay, there you go. He has a lot planned for the future. We have stopped short of outlining a detailed turnaround plan in this correspondence because the onus is on the board and Mr. Sherman to do their jobs and produce a viable strategy. In this spirit, we urge you to quickly provide stockholders with a credible and publicly available roadmap for cost containment, prioritizing profitable retail locations and geographic markets, and building the e-commerce ecosystem gamers deserve. RC Ventures is not interested in receiving a lone seat on the GameStop's 10-member board. It is not enticing to become an isolated stockholder advocate on a board that has overlooked years of digital revenue opportunities and presided over massive value destruction without assuming full accountability. He holds people accountable. You can see. Now we're going to get into the media's narrative about Ryan Cohen and GameStop's future. In this interview that Ryan Cohen did with GME he talks a little bit about what he inherited when he inherited GameStop. Let's listen. Let me mute my mic real quick.
GameStop, on the other hand, in many ways, Chewy was like a new construction. We built the business from the ground up, knew the business inside and out. GameStop is different. We inherited a bunch of legacy everything and underinvestment across the entire business, people, the entire technology stack, just decades of neglect. And so
You heard that. Decades of neglect. Decades of neglect. Asari's technology stack, bad services, bad software. You know, we cannot build a technology futuristic company that's the ultimate destination for gamers with decades of neglect. So he has to analyze the entire business, see where we can improve, which is basically the entire thing. It seems like he's building it from the ground up, and he's looking forward, as you can see in his letter, all the green that I highlighted. All right, let's move on. All right, now let's take a look at this Yahoo Finance chump. This chump that pushes the false media narrative that GameStop is a dying brick and mortar retail business with no future, no transformation. Look at him. Look at him adhere to what his masters tell him to say. Look at his body language. When I play this, look at his body language. Look at his facial expressions. Tell me he doesn't have an ulterior motive.
Little GameStop on the day. Taking a look at shares of GME. Shares are higher by about 2.4%. The company announced this morning that they are naming Ryan Cohen as Chief Executive Officer. This comes 3 months after GameStop fired their last CEO. The billionaire bought a stake of GameStop in 2020 and joined the board a year later during the height of the meme stock phenomenon. What we should also note is that he will not be taking a salary in this role.
Oh, that's mighty nice of him.
Yes,
wow,
that doesn't matter to you, I know.
No, it's ridiculous. Here's another executive that, by and large, people have strong feelings about Ryan Cohen, that he's failed at GameStop. And I think all signs pointed to him, Brad, taking this CEO role. He has really a board of his own hand-picked puppets, people that he used, he's hand-selected to join that board, that he worked with at Chewy, people that he feels comfortable with. They are unlikely to tell Ryan Cohen no. But by and large, zoom out of this situation, and you have Ryan Cohen, who has fundamentally failed at changing a company like GameStop. And why? Because there is no changing GameStop, Brad. This is a fundamentally challenged market. You have digital downloads, you name it. And I know there's a lot of really hardcore believers remaining out there on Reddit in the GameStop story and Ryan Cohen, but he has absolutely failed at fixing this company. All he's done is successfully laid off a lot of former Amazon workers.
The top trending ticker on Yahoo Finance this morning, GME, and of course, as it naturally is, especially on a move like this, this is going to be effective immediately, we should note. And then additionally here, you had a question what the actual trajectory from a strategic perspective is from GameStop at this point in time. I mean, inventory is largely shifting to being delivered over the cloud. You've got a deal that's going to be done perhaps, and is expected to be done, if you were to look at shares of Activision Blizzard at this point, expected to be done between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. That's going to just further consolidate the gaming landscape as well. So where does GameStop sit within that, where you've got so many people just going to the cloud to make purchases? It just makes them a T-shirt company or a T-shirt retailer at the end of the day, and maybe you can get a couple Funko dolls there.
Although maybe Calvin McDonald over at Lululemon could take all those unsold mirror devices and just stick them into GameStop, Brad, and maybe we can liquidate them that way. There's thousands of GameStop stores. This is innovation right here.
Look at that. What a joke of reporting. Look at how the media tries to spin a narrative on GameStop and how there's no possible way it could exist. As a gaming retailer, we are the only one that specializes in gaming. Here's another one.
Investigating Cohen for his sale of Bed Bath & Beyond shares. If you remember, he had gone public with a big call on Bed Bath & Beyond, put board members on that company, and then before I think folks understood what was really happening, had sold out of those shares. The SEC looking at that at the same time that the company now, well, him becoming the CEO of this company.
Going public with that, was that on Twitter? I think I'm trying to remember the details for it.
I remember
he spoke about it.
It was back in March of last year. Yeah. He had announced his ownership stake in Bed Bath, but then I believe
very quickly afterwards
had turned around and sold those shares. The SEC looking at that. So clearly the board, for whatever reason, feeling confident enough in whatever that case is, unless they want to take the risk to make him the CEO of this company.
Well, I'm glad we got this on quickly. Far be it from us to not report any GameStop news immediately with the GameStoppers out there, because you know how we're so anti all the meme stocks. You know how.
The stock, by the way, up by more than 8%.
I know, but we always hear that. It's like you do this. I've had expressions that they can read when people mention something that they can tell that that I'm conflicted or someone's got me in the. You've seen those, right? I know you.
You mean your body language, your facial expressions? You mean the language that projects the majority of the point that you're trying to make? Not everyone's good with words. Many people, but everyone projects with their body language. Everyone projects with their facial expressions. The eyes you see into the soul through eyes. And we can see what your soul holds. Next.
For what? Now, David, I've been thinking. Ryan Cohen.
Yes.
Right? He made his bones for selling dog food at Chewy, right?
Chewy, yes.
What do you think about this for GameStop?
Okay.
Cat food.
I like it. I see some real synergy there.
Right? I mean, if the man knew dog food, he can crush it in cat food.
It's obvious to me.
Right?
It's obvious, yeah.
So, maybe cat litter.
Maybe cat games. Games for cats?
Why not?
Why not?
Now, look, I said that literally because I want people to attack me. I obviously am a masochist. But, you've got to, at some point or another, say who you are and what you're going to do. Or else it's very difficult to keep the balls in the air.
Volume on the name, daily volume, is nowhere near where it was in, say, January, February, March. And that's been the case since mid-June.
I know. This is might be one where there is no exit. We close, so to speak, David, existential or French novel. I don't know if you put that in your repertoire.
I don't. I didn't.
Very good. Very good. But I do say I want to distinguish this between AMC. Adam Aaron is a magician. The numbers for the weekend were better than 2019. And what we have to start talking about, Carl, is who is besting 2019? I met Ulta today. They're besting 2019. Obviously, RH besting 2019.
40% up from 2019, right? Top line 40%.
So if you're beating 2019, then you are in.
But
Enough of this garbage. Talking about cat food. GameStop should sell cat food. Look at how they try to look at how they try to manipulate you. Look at it. And look at how they have AMC listed first above GameStop when we all know GameStop is the only one. The only one. AMC is in pennies right now. Adam Aaron is a magician. That's because y'all all work for funds, private equity. Y'all are all buddies and running the same damn circle. Just like lawyers, just like judges. That's how cases are decided before they even take the stand. Getting me angry right now. Really angry. Making sure my mic's on. Look at AMC. What was it today? I don't even care about the price of GameStop. AMC, 42.7 cents. Pathetic. Talk about a magician. Ryan Cohen is the magician. Let's go. I'm heated. After you've heard all of that narrative of how GameStop has no future, dying brick and mortar, they should sell cat food, list AMC above GameStop, which now we know it is not guaranteed. They're going bankrupt. Let's take a look at Ryan Cohen's mindset, business mindset, and how it relates to GameStop.
How much does fast delivery matter in this category? Because you got heavy bags of pet food often. People know when they're getting close to the bottom of one. And for Chewy, the subscription delivery has been important. Does it really need to be that fast?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think so. I think within e-commerce today, it's really table stakes to perfect that flywheel of fast shipping, being competitively priced, and then having the selection. And we really differentiated ourselves by being the category experts and, you know, really bringing a face to e-commerce. And really, at the end of the day, we just happen to sell pet products. Frankly, I think, you know, if you're in the business of delighting your customers, I think that, you know, you could be very successful. And I think we would have been successful, frankly, in any category.
Talk about a little.
Successful in any category. He's going to take his principles that he took when he built Chewy from the ground up and apply it to GameStop. That's delighting customers. Number one, remember the truck.
Do it online and do it at scale. And so, you know, the handwritten holiday cards from the beginning, the pet portraits, the flowers, doing all these things to really delight our customers and show our customers we're bringing a face to e-commerce. And within a category like pet, where customers are so fanatical, all of those small things just create this loyalty. And once customers shop at Chewy, they continue shopping at Chewy and they tell all their friends.
Why are you doing well in the market? What's happening here?
Yeah, well, I think the world has changed a lot from the days of pets.com till today. And so, you know, the market back then was underpenetrated. People weren't shopping online. Today, e-commerce is a way of life. People were scared just to put their credit card information online. Then also you have the humanization of pets, and people have, you know, moved up market. And so ASPs and the margin structure has moved up. And then you just have the shipping density, where shipping as a percent of revenue is a lot less today than it was in the past. And so we've really built a business where this is a category that focus is incredibly important. And so, you know, we do all that flywheel of fast shipping, price, being competitive. That's all, you know, basically table stakes in e-commerce. But then when it comes to being the category experts, right, you want to know what's the best weight loss foods, grain-free foods, you call us. We know the product better than anyone else. We're the best in the business.
You know, when you started this, though, come on, you had to have the skeptics lined up around the door and not so many investors thinking, Ryan, you got to be kidding me. This isn't going to work.
We didn't have any investors. I mean, I went to Silicon Valley. It took me over 2 years to finance the business. Over 100 investors passed. Lots of no's, you know, the demise of pets.com, going head-to-head against Amazon and vertically integrated e-commerce. But we kept on scaling the business. It was just heads down, blocking, tackling, focusing on amazing execution. And I think everyone underestimated how well we would execute and how big of a business we could build.
You're still going up against Amazon.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a confident man, people. Yes. So what, because you know that they're looking at you and thinking, no, they're not taking any piece of our pet business.
Yeah, I mean, the vision for the company was really to replicate the experience I had in the neighborhood pet store, but do it online and do it at scale. And so, you know, the handwritten holiday cards from the beginning, the pet portraits, the flowers, doing all these things to really delight our customers and show our customers we're bringing a face to e-commerce. And within a category like pet, where customers are so fanatical, all of those small things just create this loyalty. And once customers shop at Chewy,
they continue shopping at Chewy and they tell all their friends and family about this incredible experience.
But there are very low barriers to entry, and you know people are fickle about where they shop. If you just look at how many times people change their pet food, it's dizzying.
Yeah.
Do you worry at this point in time that, you know, yeah, the market looks like this year? What makes you think the market will be there next year?
I mean, it's just a game of scale within e-commerce. And so you need enough revenues to get to your fixed costs. You need enough velocity with your suppliers. You need enough fulfillment centers
and you think
around
you're
the
there?
country. I mean, Chewy has 7 fulfillment centers, 11 million active customers, did $3.5 billion in revenue in 2018. So if you wanted to replicate that model, sure, with enough capital, it's possible, but it would require significantly more capital than we had invested into the business.
All right, look, you can see it right there. He talked about fast shipping, competitive price, and being the category experts in our field. GameStop we are category experts. You come to us if you need headsets, if you need gaming suggestions. I go to GameStop, my kids love it in GameStop. I see a ton of parents over there with their children. I asked the GameStop employee, I said, "Here's my son's age. This is what I'm looking for in a game." And off the top of his head, he gives me multiple suggestions. Excellent customer service every single time I step in there. And parents buying their children games. Children make this world go around. Trust me. Here's another one.
We picked the right partners.
It's fantastic because from the reports that we've been hearing, it was oversubscribed, and of course the IPO price was above what was expected. The opening price above it was,
Because clearly there was a lot of passion that went into building this company.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at lots of different things, talking to lots of different entrepreneurs, looking at different businesses, corporate boards.
A specific sector that you want to be in?
I like consumer. I would say that, consumer businesses are, probably my circle of competence, and so I think I understand those best. And I'll see, maybe I'll build another business.
And I mean, this is sort of in your bloodline, right? I mean, from your father and kind of your history. So when you take a company, I mean, maybe you weren't there when it went public, but when you think about that, what do you do next? Do you want to build another company and take it public again, or at least sell it off or something like that?
I think going public is just a financing event, and so I like scale, I like disruption, and ultimately I love opportunities where we can delight a customer. And we just, when you think about Chewy's core competence, it really wasn't the product. This is a business where we're in the business of delighting customers. Frank, we happen to sell pet products, but I think that model would have been successful in a lot of different categories as well. So, that makes me happy, and that's fun.
Naturally on the street, investors will think about the close.
All right, you heard it. This is a smart business guy. He knows how to scale a business. He knows how to analyze a business, and he's very forward thinking. Think about his business mentality. He went to over 100 investors that said no to him. He could have stopped at 20. He could have stopped at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. He did not change his business plan. He kept it going. He put his head down, believed in himself, went to 100 something people until someone said yes to him. That is drive, that's determination that not every single average Joe has. And he's leading GameStop. On to the next video.
You talk about the runway, but I'm curious, and a former pet owner, because unfortunately our dog is no longer with us, but I still have the collar. So I totally get the emotional connection all of us have, and 85 million households have a pet. But when you talk about runway to grow this business, the company you created today already has over 50% of the online market for pet delivery and is losing huge amounts of money. I know we want them to succeed, but what do you see in what's going on right now that tells you they will?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the company and you look at the short-term losses, our governor of growth has always been free cash flow. And so the company from 2014 to 2018 has gone from 200 million in sales to 3.5 billion in sales and has roughly burned through about 140 million bucks. And all of that money has been spent on new customer acquisition and opening up future fulfillment centers. And so at any point, we could have had a profitable business many years ago had we scaled down the marketing spend. But really, the strategy has been execute on scale and market leadership. And the vision has been, build the largest pet retailer in the world.
Ryan, what are you going to do now? Are you going to sit home and count your proceeds, or are you figuring out what to do with those proceeds? Maybe what business you're going to invest them now?
No, I'm 33, and I've learned retirement sucks, and so I'm talking to lots of different businesses and entrepreneurs, and I'm figuring out what's next, and maybe I'll start another business. Who knows?
You just gave us a great headline. Retirement sucks.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Ryan.
If you're 33, I think that's safe to say.
Too young to retire. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll keep in touch.
Ryan Cohen over there, delighting interviewers. So earlier in another video, Ryan Cohen said, the governor of growth is free cash flow. In Chewy, in 2014 to 2018, in 4 years, they went from 200 million to $3.5 billion. That's 17 and a half times. Guess who has free cash flow? GameStop. Guess who's the CEO, chairman of the board, chief investment officer? That smart guy you just heard. He can invest GameStop's $1 billion worth of cash alongside pushing it with his own money and his friends that he has. You don't think he's studied? You don't think he's made connections with people prior to attaining his position in GameStop? He said he was talking to all types of entrepreneurs, people looking for many different opportunities. Oh yeah, well now he is basically all GameStop. So, all the same entrepreneurs, all those same businesses that he contacted prior to being GameStop CEO, well, now they're on the horizon. Ryan Cohen will take GameStop beyond the horizon, way past any of what these little pea-brain media analysts report or what their masters tell them to report. Believe it. Look, and earlier in his board of directors, he talked about smart hiring. Listen to what he looks for in the people that he hires.
You've hired and fired a lot of people. GMEDD tracks these hires, and on Yahoo Finance, I held up a stack of over 400 resumes to show it. What do you look for in talent?
Will, a really, really strong work ethic. Someone who is very, very, very hungry, and so Will is embedded into you at a very, very young age. Skills you can acquire and you can learn. So I look for someone who's got a chip on their shoulder, someone who comes from a broken family, someone who was bullied as a kid, someone who's an immigrant and really has had to fight and is just incredibly hungry. Those are the kind of people that I like, and it's hard to find, and it's getting much harder to find. But those are the kind of people that I'm attracted to.
He looks for people with will, people that are fighters, people with perseverance. Those are the people he hires. Those are the people that will be hired. Those are the people that will stay with the company. The board of directors is buying GameStop shares every single year. Ryan Cohen has a whole rack of shares. Larry Chang, a whole rack of shares. A whole rack of shares. I stack every day I purchase shares. Endless pages of buy orders. It takes forever for me to figure out cost basis. But I did it. Let's see. All right, here we go. GameStop Insider. Let's take a look over here. This is why I buy. The people that fool on Yahoo Finance said were his puppets are over here purchasing shares. They were not his puppets. Larry Chang gave Ryan Cohen money for Chewy. He's known him from back in the day. Ryan Cohen trusts him. Look at Ryan Cohen's share count. Look at this. 36.8 million shares. Is that a joke? Zero pay. Ryan Cohen pays himself $0. Zero. The only way Ryan Cohen wins is if the share price goes up. So tell me how he's not aligned with shareholders. Tell me how he's not trying to make this business succeed. It's sink or swim. And he's swimming. Larry Chang purchased Alan Adel over 500,000 shares. This is ridiculous.
Today, you've become a hero to retail investors, and the pundits like Jim Cramer can't get your name out of their mouths. What has it been like becoming such a public figure?
I think I'm the same when I was 7, 17, 27, 37, 37 today. I haven't really changed. You know, I'm still a kid, still pretty immature. I have a pretty strange, dark sense of humor, and I don't plan on changing. So, yeah.
He's got the drive. He's got the fight. He has what we have. We buy, we hold. It never gets old. GameStop. Peace.